You have to stop doing these things if you have diastasis recti, especially if you have not seen progress or results in your diastasis recti workout. And these can directly impact and block you of healing, of recovering faster, and maybe even worsen your diastasis or even widen your gap. Number one thing is sucking in. Avoid sucking in your belly. Stop sucking in your belly. It's putting a big pressure on the linea alba, on your abdomen. Usually when you suck in, you pull your belly in on the inhale. It's completely the opposite what I've been teaching regarding breathing and diastasis recti recovery. So this is absolutely a no. You have to learn the right way of breathing, which is the 360-degree diaphragmatic breathing, transverse abdominis activation, and proper pelvic floor activation in order to start healing your diastasis. You also have to stop certain exercises. Exercises that directly worsening your diastasis are planks, crunches, high impact movements, running, jumping, mountain climbers, V-sit. So any kind of movements where you see that coning shape of the belly, that doming shape, the bread loaf in the middle. So these ones you have to stop because, yeah, that's where you are adding extra pressure. Diastasis recti recovery is already a pressure management. You have to manage that pressure that comes in the belly, and this is that pressure. That coning and doming is the pressure. So if you're doing those exercises that create the pressure, you're not managing it. You're making it worse. So that's why we are doing deep core activation exercises at first, when you have the wide gap or really weak core and soft squishy belly, because these mostly starting on lying on the back, and there is so much easier to engage the core. You barely even have to try because it almost naturally just helps you engage the core. This kind of positions that we start with, and how we healing the diastasis recti, how my community is healing the diastasis recti, how I'm teaching the healing. It starts with very simple, no impact, low impact exercises, not high impact, and these are just so easy to engage your core. It just comes naturally, really. Other thing what you have to stop is lifting your children with rounded shoulders, with bad posture. When you're lifting your children, and maybe other things as well, your groceries, your other heavy things that maybe have to place from here and there in your garage, in your apartment, in your house, whatever, your kids, hold your core, engage your core and hold your core during the lifting movement until you are doing the effort, and exhale on the effort. But definitely just make sure that your back is straight, you engaging and then holding your core, and then you exhaling. Don't hold your breath either. That's also an additional pressure. So learn to lift safely and with a good posture. Another very common mistake is what women do is getting out of bed or rolling down on the mat just straight away back and come up. This is just like a crunch movement when you're trying to come up from a crunch, right? This is how you're trying to get out of your bed as well. This is also encouraging more pressure. And if you do it a couple of times a day, and then how many times during the week, imagine this will also add extra pressure in and potentially slow your progress in the healing. Because diastasis recti is not just the exercises that you have to do, but is the 95% of it is not the exercise. The exercise that you do for your core activation is probably just like 5%. The rest of the healing comes together, which is around 95%, comes together from your day-to-day, your everyday life activities. And this is where you have to pay attention to, because majority of it comes together from that. So very important thing as well, to stop ignoring your core and pelvic floor. The pelvic floor has to work together with the core. This is the core canister pump. It's like a pumping movement what the two does together. Your deep core is in the middle here, and your pelvic floor lies down there, holds together your rectum, your uterus and your bladder. And then when you inhale, they relax, all the muscles relax. And when you exhale, the pelvic floor muscle lift, the deep core contracts, and the air comes out just like you zip up your hoodie. It's like a pumping movement, and you can't ignore your pelvic floor. You have to learn to activate both and to let them work together. This is what the 360-degree TV activation diaphragmatic breathing is all about. I will link you the video so you can check it out for yourself and learn this breathing technique, because it is so useful and helpful for your healing process and for your day-to-day activities as well. If you can learn to breathe with this breathing technique, 360 breathing, you can activate your core and pelvic floor just any time of the day and just practice a couple of times during the day for 10 breaths in the morning, in the evening, during the afternoon. Just keep practicing and letting the core canister to pump and work together and learn this core and pelvic floor connection through that breathing. And lastly, you have to understand that healing takes time. So don't rush your recovery, don't rush your healing, don't compare yourself to others, because every other person's journey will be different. My journey, I had a very difficult journey the first time around when I was pregnant the first time. But then I was also not so much into pelvic floor, core. I was not educated about it. Not that I was not into, I didn't know about it. I didn't know what I had. I didn't know I had abdominal separation. I didn't know at first I had pelvic floor dysfunction, and I was not prepared for it. I didn't know what I was doing, so of course I did the wrong exercises. Of course I was running. Of course I was doing crunches and planks. Of course I did all the mistakes as well myself. That's why my healing the first time took so long for me, that it almost stopped me of having children, having a kid again. So that's why we waited, I think, quite longer. I waited quite longer to get pregnant the second time, because this experience with the healing was really not good at first time, and I had a lot of trials and errors, and it took me a long time to figure it out, because I figured it out all by myself, and first I made mistakes. I didn't know. I made mistakes. But then when second time, okay, let's try another kid, let's get pregnant again, you know. Then I said, okay, this time I'm gonna do it right. And you know what I did? I signed up to become a pre- and postnatal trainer. So then actually I could learn it the right way. I thought, I want to learn it the right way. I don't know who I should turn to, who could help me in this matter. I wanna qualify. I wanna know and learn the right way so I can help others as well. It was already in me. I wanted to help others. I thought, if I can get this knowledge, I don't just want it for myself, but I want every woman to know, because everyone should know and should be able to heal postpartum. Because it's some kind of knowledge that it needs to be shared among women, because it's already so difficult to go through pregnancy, to go through delivery, that after you have to suffer as well because you are not getting the right information from people. It's just too much, right? Am I right? So this was my driver, and I really wanted to do it. And yes, second time around, it was almost like a dream. I recovered quite quickly. Of course, I already had a dysfunction during the pregnancy time, but with the exercises and the breathing and the activation, I was really consistent, and with my workouts, that by 6 weeks checkup mark, my dysfunction was gone. Maybe there was a small diastasis still, like 2 centimeters, but that was also gone. Not much later than that, because I knew what I have to do. I knew in which order I have to do the things. And now I'm also able to share with you. So if you want to join my community, I will link it below. Just reach out and I will help you to heal, and we can do it together. So let me know in the comments, what would you like to hear next, and what's the most challenging for you in this recovery journey? Because I want to help.